Hi, hello, it's Sheridan here with another training design tip. This week I want to talk about how long it takes to design things, which is an age-old question. It's very much, well, how long is a piece of string? The typical response for a live course is 3 days to a day, but I'm not here to talk about that and why we justify that. What I'm wanting to talk about is the fact that I get designers coming to me, particularly if design's not really their thing. They say, oh, it takes forever. Oh, it just takes so long. It's like wading through treacle. I don't know how you do it. So how can we stop our training design taking too long? Yet on the flip side, I also worry when I hear people say they've designed a course in half a day. And I think, have you really designed a course, or have you just thought it through? So this is just a little bit of a top line overview of how I design training, so that I can do it in approximately 3 days per one day. The first thing and the most important thing is to just to use an analogy, is to get your big rocks in place. So once we've got those core chunks, if you like, of content that link directly to your objectives, they are fixed. The detail of what goes on in those core chunks, that will still evolve, but we know exactly we want to cover these 4 things, for example, because they will lead us to delivering the objectives that we've been asked to deliver, and we will not deviate from that. And I think sometimes the trouble is that when people design in detail right from the start, we can end up with scope creep. So you start off fully on track, but then because you're designing in such detail, something will spark off another idea and you think, oh yeah, that would be really interesting to cover there. So then we design something around that, and then that sparks off another idea. And before you know it, you've gone way off where you should be. And when you come back to look at your objectives, you think, oh, I haven't covered that and haven't covered that, and I've run out of time. So then we're going back into edit mode. We have to delete stuff and we have to start again. And that's when the design can end up taking a ridiculous amount of time. The other thing that I think can slow us down is wanting to get absolutely everything perfect first time. Now, I'm very much a good enough is good enough kind of a gal, particularly when getting a first draft done. And the way I work with my clients is to say, I will send you a first draft of the content for your review to check that I'm covering everything you want to cover and you're happy with the way that I'm covering it. I always put in capitals, in red and underlined, this has not been proofread. This is not the final version, because finishing off to that perfection, that level of detail, takes an awful lot of time. And I don't want to waste time putting exactly the right pictures in, putting things in diagrams, getting everything proofread, and doing all those little finishing touches if the client then says to me, oh no, this section's just not working for us. So it's very, very important that we get it roughly right, in a reasonable amount of time. Once you've got it roughly right, and what I mean by that is that you know that your session works, you know that you're meeting all your objectives, you know that you are using a variety of methods, that's when, if the time allows you, you can go back and put all those really fine little details into it that will take it from good to great, for want of a better word. So that is my tip, I think, this week. Use the 80-20 rule, for want of better anything else. So spend 20% of your time getting your big chunks in place, then scope it out, put all the flesh on the bones, and then go back and fill in the fine detail. So we're kind of doing it in a 3-stage process. And as long as you're managing people's expectations along the way, that really shouldn't be a problem. Because I think we can get hung up on the little things, and maybe sometimes our stakeholders do as well, so they worry about exactly which picture you've used or exactly which word you've used. We can deal with that in the last stages. That's kind of a luxury. What matters is designing a training course that's really going to work and is making good and effective use of our time. Because I'm a firm believer in that in 3 days, if you're focused, obviously, and if you've got the knowledge, you can definitely put together a decent training workshop. If the topic's new to you and you've got to do a lot of research, then that's a separate thing. So, we do have to flex things, and obviously it depends what that workshop is about. When I'm writing workshops that have lots of detailed case studies, for example, that takes longer to write because I need to spend time actually pulling together all of that information and not only writing the case study, but writing the facilitator's notes to guide the discussion around the case studies and the answers. Whereas if you're doing something that's much more practical, such as a coaching course, you may not have those extra materials that you need to create. So my tip, big elements that link to your objectives to keep you on track. Keep referring back to them. Put together 80% of the course. It doesn't have to be perfect. Get that 80% approved by whoever needs to approve it, and then use whatever time you've got left to make it absolutely delicious and beautiful and perfect. So hope you found that useful, and I'll be back again next week with another training tip. Thanks very much. Bye for now.